Network. I'm really excited to introduce you to the ladies that you see on the left. I had the honor and privilege of being on their show, and they're going to drop the podcast below in the comment section so you guys can check it out. You see their names above, you see their profiles in the comment section. Please connect with them. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. We're doing very well. Thank you. How are you?
Doing good. Please introduce yourselves.
Yeah, so I'm Nancy Werteen.
And I'm Kim Howie.
And together we're the Wisdom Coalition.
Can you explain what that is and where are you guys located?
Well, we're located in Pennsylvania, but it doesn't really matter because we can connect with people anywhere. And the Wisdom Coalition is an organization all about helping people to propel their mindsets so that they can find more joy, because we know it's not always that easy to have a positive mindset. And we also know everything we do is based in positive psychology, which tells us about the negativity bias, right? That we naturally look for things that are negative instead of things that are positive.
Right. Yeah, that's the way our brains are hardwired for our own survival. So we give our listeners in our community tips and tools to use from positive psychology to help them rewire their brain so that they can look for positive aspects in life.
Yeah, and for those you see me using the hashtag Pennsylvania Philly today, and for those of you who don't know, I grew up outside Philadelphia. That's why you see me using hashtags today. Can you explain to people, I've been trying to tell my network this for 2 years now, the importance of being in a positive space and what that can do for you for your career and for you personally?
Yeah, well, there's tons of science behind this and, decades of research that prove that positivity has a tremendous impact on us as individuals and in the corporate world as well. So, there's a researcher, Barbara Fredrickson, who has done, as I said, decades of research on the impact of positivity in terms of corporate environment. And just being more positive actually has the ability to help us see the bigger picture in life. So she has this theory called the broaden and build. So it broadens our resources and it builds our awareness. And, this has on the bottom line, the impact in corporations for lower turnover. Of course, for individuals, it's higher salaries, better performance reviews, but just increased morale in the workplace. But that then trickles into our personal lives as well, of course, and it has the ability to have ripples out, so when we're more positive, the people around us are more positive and it improves our relationships. But it also has this wonderful thing that she's termed word spiral. The more positive you are, the more positive you become. And again, like I said, that impacts everything around you.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the science answer. But, when we started the Wisdom Coalition 5 years ago, I'm a television news journalist and I like to research, observe people. And, I got involved and I was like, yeah, it sounds like a pretty good idea. Mm-hmm. But I can't tell you, well, I'm going to tell you, being positive, being more positive, my gosh, it influences every single thing you do, every single person you interact with, every relationship you have, whether you're successful, whether you're healthy. I mean, it is amazing the difference being positive makes in your life. And you read about it and you hear about it, but when you start practicing it and you start seeing the results in your own life, that's when you're like, yeah, I'm hooked. I want more.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference, right? And,
yeah,
and this is something that I really love about these ladies. Okay, first of all, they're like adorable and they're so kind. Can you explain to people, you made a deeply conscious choice to shine a light on other people, and that's what I love about you guys. You're selfless human beings. How important right now in this pandemic is it to be a selfless human being?
Oh, I would say now more than ever. I think that we're all going through this collectively together, right? And so there's this sense of common humanity, but there's also this need to lift each other up.
Yeah. And, when we started the pandemic, when we started the shutdown, Kim and I were writing our second book, and it was called The Power of a Pause. And we meant at that time when we designed it, we're going so fast, we don't take that moment to take a breath, turn inward, improve our lives. And then the pandemic happened. And so we switched the focus to be, how can you make the most of any kind of a pause in your life, intended or unintended, like a death, an illness, or a pandemic? And what we've really found is Of course, this has been an incredibly challenging, difficult time. But by zeroing in on certain things, and one of the things that we talk about a lot in corporations since the pandemic happened is this idea of what's inside and what's outside of our control. Because I think we spend a lot of time sort of ruminating, trying to control things that we can't control. And once you sort of give up the idea that you can't control the weather, you can't control the traffic, you can't control the pandemic, but you can control your response to it. And once you get in more into that mindset so that you're not constantly fighting these things you can't control, and you start trying to do the things you can control, your attitude, your positivity, then it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, and the way we treat each other, right? That is definitely within our control. Now, the way someone else treats you, outside of your control, but the way you respond with kindness and with compassion and with respect, that's what we're really in need of right now.
Yeah.
So important, right? This is what people are hurting, right? And the three of us are becoming a place of empathy. So we know that we're fully aware that they need love, compassion, sympathy. It's crucial. You said something really important. How important is it? Most of my life has been out of my control. So I've learned to go with the flow. How important is it to do that?
Vastly important. As Nancy said, we tend to spend a lot of our time focusing on things that are outside of our control, worrying about them, stressing about them, complaining about them, sort of, just ruminating and all of that negativity. And we tend to, help people. We want to help people recognize that's not helping you. It's not doing anything positive for you. It's actually, negatively impacting your health and your well-being. And when you recognize that these things are outside of your control, you can let go of all of that and then focus on what you can control.
And it's not our fault. It's not like we choose to ruminate on things. It just kind of happens until we pay attention and say, what's circling around in there? What am I saying? What am I repeating? And how can I flip that? How can I change that? And how can I recognize the broken record that's not serving me and sort of replace it with something that's more productive?
Download a new song.
Well, and,
right? Like you just need to mentally download a new song and say, okay.
Kim has a saying that the first few times she said it to me, I was kind of like, She always says, no matter what happens, and horrible things happen, and big things happen, and challenging things happen, and she'll say it's unfolding perfectly.
That's right.
Wait a minute, what? But when you look at it that way, it's releasing that idea that I'm going to control it. It's unfolding. Whatever happens, it's unfolding perfectly. This is the way that it's supposed to go.
Yeah, and all we can do is either we can step into it. That's what I do. I jump on the path. I'm like, that's it. This is exactly where I'm supposed to be going. And we know that the path will go left and right. How important is it to support each other? Can you explain your friendship? As women, how important is it for us to stand by each other and support each other?
Well, I would say, critically important. But one thing I want to say about our friendship that I think is really unique and different is that we are very different people. Really so different than each other in so many ways. But we embrace that and we support that and we love that in each other. And I think that's really unique. I think we tend to gravitate towards people who are just like us, right? So that we feel validated in who we are. But there's something really special about acknowledging your differences and embracing them and loving, people for who they are and not trying to change them and not trying to get them to see the world the way you see it. Just loving every part of them.
It's true friendship. Like it's a real friendship. You love each other, the good parts, the bad parts. We all bad, but loving somebody unconditionally.
Well, and we also have this term called positivity partner. So we call each other our positivity partners. We encourage other people to do that because as women, I don't know that we do that a lot with our women friends. A lot of times, we want our women friends to be there cheering us on, but sometimes it doesn't quite happen that way. And so we like to say, we're positivity partners for each other. We can be a positivity partner for you.